As we all know, we live in a very social society. Everywhere you look or go, there is some form of interaction going on. Whether it's two people going on a date, a group of friends walking down the street, complete strangers interacting, or maybe you're tailgating a football game, there is some form of interaction encompassing all of our lives. What I've come to notice about all this interaction lately is that it's decreasing as a whole. You don't seem to see as many people actually communicating with one another on the street, on the bus, or just in general. Why, you ask, is it like this now? Let me tell you what I think is causing this epidemic. Technology. Technology is the main culprit here. Think about it. How many more outlets of communication do we have now than we did 30 years ago? A lot. The biggest players have got to be cell phones and the internet. When we want to talk to a friend, now we can just text them, which everyone does, and that's fine, but are we really using this technology how we should? The answer to that question is no, we are not. It appears that texting for many has replaced a lot of time you'd actually be spending with that friend. I've come to realize that to be true even in my own experience with cell phones. As little as 5 years ago, I can recall that the only times I ever sent people texts were to make plans to see them, and that was it. Now I, along with so many others, text way more than to just make plans. I think it's time that we go back to the days where cell phones were used to make plans and not replace them. Many studies have been done to illustrate how we use our current technologies. Now I'll show you some results from these studies and explain what these results actually mean. The first table deals with college students and how they use their cell phones. What I want to focus on is the average number of texts sent and received in one day. As you can see, the average college student sends 102 text messages per day. That's over 3,000 texts a month. That number just seems absurd to me. Assuming the average person is awake for 16 hours a day, this means that people send a text about every 9 minutes. That is a lot of cell phone use in one day. This next table shows how people spend their time in certain places. It compares face-to-face interaction with telephone and internet time at home, someone else's home, work or school, and public places. As you can see, only 81 out of the total of 327 interactions at home are done face-to-face. That's a measly 25%. I don't know about everyone else, but I can say that this is nothing like my home life. I'm almost always with one of my siblings or parents while at home. Only a little more than half of interactions at other people's houses are done in person, and less than half of interactions at work or school are in person. To me, this shows how, as a whole, our society needs to change our social behavior. This last table I'll show you is fairly complicated. In simple terms, this table shows how heavy internet and cell phone users are at risk of developing clinical diseases. Common ones of these seem to be insomnia, social dysfunction, and depression. So besides taking away from social interaction, overusing our new technology can actually cause harm to you, which nobody wants. Another way using cell phones can harm you is by using them on the street. Nowadays, I always see people walking and texting at the same time, which can be dangerous. People don't pay attention to their surroundings, and any number of things could happen, such as getting hit by a car, walking into a pole, or anything else on the street. These next two videos I'll show you illustrate this point very well.
You see them all over town, people walking and texting at the same time, sometimes only looking up for a brief moment. Texting is not new. It's been around for a few years, but with the creation of the smartphone, texting has now become a way of life. The problem? Some people are so caught up with reading or sending a text, they are not watching where they're walking. People have walked into poles, trash cans, or just tripped on an uneven sidewalk, and some walk into traffic. Texting and walking have become downright dangerous. I walked around San Francisco to see if I could find people texting and walking. Trust me, they weren't hard to find. While some people are the type that will plant their feet in text, there are some that are constantly on the move. Like this lady in the black jacket. She steps out into a busy street, never once looking up. As she crosses, she finally glances up, but just for a brief moment, and continues on her way, still glued to her phone. This guy is the slow texting type. He just casually walks down Market, only looking up for a second to get his bearings. There have been a few reported cases where someone, while texting, walked out into the street and was run over. This guy has two cell phones, one for reading and one for texting. Then there's this guy in the white shirt that seems to never look up. That must be one real important message. You know what will happen right after you hear enough complaints about people texting and walking? Someone will introduce a law making it illegal. Mark my word, a law will be coming. In San Francisco, Stanley Roberts, KRON 4 News.
Then she gets out and all awkwardly walks away.
Oh my god. Play it back, do it again.
Oh, I gotta show
And
you.
she just leaves.
I gotta show you the other angle.
When was this?
4:20 today.
Oh my god, that was today?
Yep.
So there she goes. And boom!
Was there water? Is there water in there too?
Oh yeah, it's cool.
She gets out. Like, look at that guy dying in the corner. He just saw her and followed. Where'd she go? Where did she go?
She goes here and talks and then walks out. Pedro from housekeeping's like, "Are you all right?" She's like, "I'm just a little wet."
She goes in the store?
She stares there. I guess she's like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
Oh my god. Wow.
And Pedro's looking at her like, "Really?"
You're soaked. She's soaking wet, right?
She's soaked right now and has to go out in the cold weather. I can't believe that happened.
I think those two videos adequately represent the dangers of cell phone use while walking. Not to mention it can be extremely embarrassing. I mean, falling into a fountain doesn't get much worse than that. However, now I'm going to focus on the internet aspect of this social hindering. Everyone who has access to the internet, which is most people in our country, uses it for all sorts of things. People use it for work, research, studying, gaming, watching TV or movies, and maybe the most common is social networking. Websites like Facebook and Twitter are huge in our society. One would be hard-pressed to find someone without a Facebook, especially in the younger generations. The table I'm showing you now shows people's frequency of internet use and how much time they spend on the internet in a week. As you can see, 63% use the internet every day, and only 12% of people use it once a week or less. Using the internet daily is definitely understandable, seeing that many people get their news from it and other things. But you will also see that some people spend a lot of time on there, certainly more than necessary. 22% spend between 11 and 20 hours per week, and 11% of people spend over 21 hours online a week. That is pretty extreme if you ask me. I know people who do this too. They often are online doing whatever until about 3 in the morning, which doesn't seem like the best way to spend one's time to me. This next table shows what people are doing on the internet with their time. What I'd like to bring to your attention is that 93% of people use it to communicate with friends, and I can guarantee you that these people also have cell phones that they're probably communicating with these friends with as well. How about spending that time with your friends? Unless they live far away, then there is no excuse to not hang out and actually do something with your friends than just talking to online or texting. Now, I'm not trying to say that the internet and cell phones are a bad thing. They're not. They are important forms of technology that we have, but we need to start using them properly. It is time to put down the phone, get away from your computer, and do something productive or fun. Stop using these valuable tools to hide from society. Use them to become a bigger and better part of society. Turn off your computer now, call someone up, and go have a good time. I promise you, you won't regret it.